Guys, in front of us we have the 2022 Triumph Tiger 660 Sport, and boy is this about to be a good first ride. Let's get it going. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at Mountain Motorsports in Roswell, and in front of us we have a Triumph Tiger 660 Sport, a middleweight touring motorcycle that I have got to do on a little ride before. Triumph invited the shop out to do like a little put miles on our bikes ride. I had such a good time, but I didn't make a video of it, but we are making that up today with a video. So, to get it started, let's see what it looks like and let's see what it sounds like. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that is what the bike looks like. That is what the bike sounds like. Now, before we get going, we are going to jump to a hilarious ad real quick, just to help support the channel, because we want to make the highest quality content for you guys. So, we'll jump to an ad real quick, and we will get this thing started. Ooh, I'm tantalizing you. Ooh.
I don't know about y'all, but here in Georgia, we have a helmet law. Now, is it meant to keep you safe? Yeah, you betcha. But there's another added benefit, hiding the hair loss that 2 out of 3 guys will experience by the time they are 35. Wait, 3 of us in the shop fall into that category. No! Luckily, there's Keeps, a subscription-based service with a focus on helping men keep their hair. With their clinically proven, researched-backed treatments to stop hair loss and improve hair growth, odds are you won't have this awkward moment anymore.
Hey, how's it going? Can I get a book of stamps, please?
I can't hear you.
Can I get a book of stamps, please?
I can't hear you with the helmet on.
Whatever.
Can I get a book of stamps, please?
This one's from the house.
And here's the best part. With Keeps, you can get quality expert care without even visiting a doctor's office or pharmacy, because unlike grocery stores and convenience stores, you gotta lose the lid for stuff like that. Y'all, hair loss stops with Keeps. Leave the brain saver with the bike and get 50% off your first order by going to keeps.com/2wheels or click the link in the description. That's KEEPS.com/2wheels. Good looking out, Keeps. Now that I'm saving my hair, we can get back to the first ride.
Alright guys, thank you guys for sitting through the ad. We do appreciate it. It supports the channel so much that usually guys support those companies that support us. Also, we're trying to put more energy into the ads. Are you guys finding them funny? I think they're hilarious. So, anyway, thank you guys for supporting the people that support us. Anyways, guys, let's get this going. That's our dash. We do have modes on this motorcycle. We will start in which one? What mode? It won't start in rain? It has to. Maybe it has to get turned on. Alrighty. And guys, I am 5'10". I got a 32-inch inseam. And as you guys can see, if I flat foot on one side, I'm only tippy-toe on the other one. So we are on a bit bigger of a motorcycle today. Those are our 2 modes, road and rain. Obviously, we will be starting in rain mode here. Enough talking. Let's get this thing going. I will note I do have my smaller shoes on, my little tiny boots that I absolutely love. put a link for them in the description if you want it, if you guys are looking for a pair of small sport boots. And guys, before we get going, you guys should go check out our Discord. We have a Discord full of motorcycle enthusiasts just like yourselves. So if you're looking for a place to hang out, motorcycle people, it's a good spot. At least we've got a good opportunity. Let's go. All right, guys. So we are here on the 2022 Triumph Tiger 660 Sport. This bike kind of dominates, at least stats-wise, the middleweight touring segment. Other bikes in this class, we've got the V-Strom 650, we got the Versus 650. To a degree, you could say the Tenere 700. And comparative to the first two I mentioned, this bike is dominating in the stats category. It is more expensive, but it does have more power and it has more torque. So pretty impressive. But let's get this first ride started as per usual, ladies and gents. Body position. Now, I am on a big, comfortable seat, which is great for a touring bike. My back pretty upright, arms kind of hanging down with the bars on the hands on the handlebars here. A very comfortable top half. And my bottom half, my feet feel like they're relatively under me, and I've got a pretty relaxed body position here. I don't feel too tucked up or anything like that. I feel like I'm in a body position that I could absolutely decimate some miles on. Like, this body position, there is nothing fatiguing me in this position. Rain mode also really toned down. Loving to see that rain mode is as toned down as it is. You guys know I don't typically ride in rain mode, but I do love it when rain mode is what it should be. Rain mode also makes this motorcycle a really good choice for something like a first-time bike, because you put it in rain mode and you've got something that's got manageable power. Next up, let's talk about the balance. The bike comes in a little heavy at around 463 pounds, but guys, this bike, while you're riding it, is so flickable. I don't know if you guys can tell that in the video, but this thing does not feel like it weighs that much. When I was looking at the stat sheet, and like I told you guys, you know, we had done that Triumph ride previously, and I was reading the stat sheet on this, and I'm like, there's no way that bike weighs that much, and somehow it does. For such a quote-unquote heavy bike, the maneuverability or the balance in traffic is so good. It hides it really well, and with these handlebars being up high, I've got no problem kind of, I don't want to say weaving in and out of traffic, but we'll just say it hides the weight really well. We've had all this construction on this road for what seems like forever at this point, and one thing I love is the handlebar position. I feel like I have so much control of this motorcycle. I could weave all over the place. It kind of makes me feel like I want to do one of those motorcycle road courses where, you know, you kind of like having to lean off the bike and stuff. It just inspires that kind of confidence. And granted, you know, for a bike that you're going to be touring on, you want stability on the highway, but once you get off the highway, you need that maneuverability once you're in town, and I think this bike totally has it. Oh, that's what I want right there. This bike is far more peppy than you would really think. I mean, a 660 is nothing to, you know, scoff at, but I do think in general people consider the 650 class and thereabouts to be a little bit on the slower side, but I think that's just because people don't ride the bikes right. When you stretch the bike's legs RPM-wise, you really get a peppy machine, which I am a fan of so far. Look at the balance. Almost 470-pound motorcycle, and I can just tiptoe this thing. When you have a bike that's balanced really well, it makes the strenuous riding in town, the going and the stopping and the maneuvering around at slow speeds, it makes that stuff so much more, I don't think enjoyable, but manageable. You don't get so exhausted by having to lug around this bike that doesn't have a really good balance. I really prefer bikes like this in town. It makes it so much nicer to ride around it. You can actually enjoy yourself. We've been talking about lately the body position, the lower half of the body position, and how it allows for me to get my feet down to the ground. Now, while this is a little bit taller of the bike, it does a really good job of having my feet easily accessible to the ground. And leaning the bike over, you do get a little bit of that weight. You know, so if you came to an abrupt stop because of, you know, somebody in front of you or something, and you came down, I would say it's mediumly heavy. It's nothing too crazy, but if you're a shorter rider, you gotta be careful with that stuff, because you're not gonna touch the ground till the bike's over on its side. I don't know how much of that's gonna translate to you guys on the GoPro, but I'm trying to cover all the bases for you tall riders, for you short riders, for you new riders, for your old riders. All right, so guys, double checking. We are in rain mode. Let's go over to road mode. Since we are heading up to the highway, we've had enough of rain mode. We get it. If you want rain mode, you got it. But I want road mode. I want all the power. I want the peppiness. I want everything. I did notice that menu is snappy, man. There is no lag at all. Phenomenal job on the menu. We'll talk more about the dash later in the video, but I just got to note, swapping modes like that fast, we love that. We love that here at the shop. I will note, you can turn traction control off in the menu, but you cannot turn ABS off, to my knowledge. So, things to note, boys and girls. I will say, I do recommend everyone riding with traction control on, though. It is a good safety feature, especially when the weather is not ideal. Not too much, though. Alright, that's a little bit of a lead on those cars. And I did that so I can get my 40 to 80 pull without having to ruin too many things. 40 to 80, you guys ready? Sorry, car, sorry, and go. There it is, 40 to 80. What a good showing on the little 660 Tiger Sport thing. Alrighty guys, we are here on the highway. We got the windshield all the way up because this is where this bike is made to ride. So as far as power on the highway, we have plenty of it. I'm in 5th gear going 80 something, and we need to get into 6th. You can go 80 miles an hour in 6th gear and you're only purring at 6,000 RPM. You got plenty of engine. Now as far as wind goes, checking the wind here. The wind, I'm up here like mid-visor right here for the tall windscreen. If I duck down, I have got a phenomenally huge bubble to kind of exist in, to kind of handle some of that wind if I want to. And then obviously, I think I showed you guys this earlier, you can move that up and down. Right now the wind's gonna hit me right at my mouth level, really, so I'm gonna pull that back up. Very easy to move that windscreen. Now one of the unfortunate things on the Tiger 660 is that it does not include cruise control. I do feel like that was a bit of a miss with the Tiger 660 because this bike does phenomenal on the highway. There's no reason I shouldn't have cruise control so I can set it and forget it. I don't have cruise control, right? I'm so surprised that I don't. I feel like it's somewhere and I just don't know it. But anyways, as far as the wind, I do feel no wind here, but on my arms, I do feel like a good amount of wind. So, you know, if you were going for a super long ride, you might want to tuck the arms in a little bit. As far as stability on the highway, you know, this is where that weight's going to kind of help us out. I feel stable as hell. I do lose a little bit of that maneuverability just due to speed, but I like how planted this thing feels here on the highway. I feel great, honestly. You could really crush some miles, and what's cool about the Tiger 660 is that we have a version at the shop. Triumph's letting us loan these for a while. We have one with a top case and 2 side bags. So this thing with a couple aftermarket accessories, and this thing's ready to just cruise down the highway. You know, I was a little worried for this bike with it being so small for the highway. You know, for a touring bike, sometimes you want a bigger bike, more power, more weight. But 660 Tiger doing phenomenal, honestly. We're gonna slow down a bit so we can hit this turn a little harder, get a little fun. All right. Very confidence inspiring. I feel totally fine leaning all the way over on this thing. I could honestly push it a little more, but yeah, I had a feeling that Infinity was gonna ride a little kind of, oh, you're just twirling your hair. Yeah, I get it. Okay. Would have liked to take it a little faster, but the bike felt great on that turn. All right, guys, let's jump to the Cardo spot and see what the guys in the camera car think of the Triumph Tiger 660.
Very few bells and whistles or frills on this bike. It's got traction control and ABS, and I think that's pretty much it. Always been a fan of that very upright kind of adventure, not adventure, touring seating position. Good looking bike. I like it.
Gotten to ride this thing for a couple days, and it's a fantastic machine. I think Chase said it's upwards of 500 pounds, but honestly, I had no clue. The 660 is a great engine. It has all the power that you could want. I rode 2 up on it with my girlfriend. You could fit a book bag in between us. Great machine. I'm interested to ride this thing a lot more.
All right, guys, in the Cardo spot, thank you so much, and thank you even more to Cardo for sponsoring the First Ride Series. If you want to grab the best Bluetooth communicators on the market, you can use our link in the description. It'll give you a discount off. So, guys, power delivery-wise, I feel like this bike is absolutely... let's check the brakes real quick, actually. We get an opportunity. Oh, I'm downshifting, hammering on the brakes. A little soft in the suspension up front. You guys saw that bike diving down, but it got me stopped. I could have probably pulled them a little harder if I wanted to. Very okay with the brakes. They're not, top-of-the-line Brembo. I think they're Nissan brakes, but solid showing. Did a great job. All right, dudes, power delivery on the Tiger 660 Sport. It has a lot. It has a lot, but it has a fun power delivery. It does have a lot of power down low. Like, all the torque is, like, under, I think, 5,000. That's where I'm, like, the wheels wanting to come up and everything. But once you rev it all the way out, you can really get a really peppy motorcycle out of this. I love the way the throttle is giving me the power of the bike. I feel like in rain mode, it's a solid contender for a bike that would be a phenomenal motorcycle that you could grow into, because once you start feeling a little more confident, you get in road mode, you start revving it out a little more and start just really maximizing what every gear gives you. I think this is a sleeper bike, man. I don't think a lot of people would expect how fun and nimble this bike is, and then you get on it. You know, if you're a more confident rider and you feel like you can extract that from the bike, you've got an incredibly fun motorcycle inside of this package. Man, I like this bike like 5 times more than I expected to, and it is absolutely incredible. I feel like the suspension it's not adjustable, not an adjustable suspension, so we won't fault it for that. I don't think any bikes in this category have adjustable suspension, but I feel like the suspension's a little, middle of the road. It's not the best thing I've ever felt. I feel like it's a little soft up front, which is probably good for riding around town. It's going to make it for a real plush ride, but when you start throwing the bike over, if you try to go too hard, it does feel a little unstable, but that's only when you're really pushing it. I think 99% of the people that buy this and ride it like they're going to ride it are going to have a total adequate suspension for them. Don't know if I would take it to a track day, I guess is what I'm saying. And we get to test the brakes one more time. Downshiftting with the light engine braking. Whoa! Man, those are brand new brakes, and you can still just hammer on them. That felt solid. This is a sleeper, man. It's confidence inspiring. It's fun. It's light. It's got that torquey power that really makes you feel like you're having a good time. Triumph, you sneaky hobbit. Wheel just comes up, you just barely pop the clutch. I love it. I have a good time on this bike. All right, guys, it is a more premium brand. We are in a Triumph. Let's talk about all the controls up here. First off, the dash. I feel like the dash does a pretty good job. It's not super advanced. We got a color little box down here, then a typical RPM gas gauge and a tack up top. I think it does a phenomenal job of giving me the info I need, and I can cycle through what the screen looks like. And one of the really neat things is you can see you get a gear indicator here. If you cycle up into the gear on the screen, it takes it away right there. It's pretty neat. As far as the controls go, I will say for Triumph, the controls feel a little less premium than their expensive models. Now, that's probably a duh. Like, absolutely, it would be less than a bike that costs double the price. But luckily, I feel like the feedback on the controls is all really good. I get a good feedback from the D-pad little thing up here with the menu. And I will say, this menu is probably one of the most responsive menus I've ever dealt with on a motorcycle. So it's very fast. It responds the moment you press the button. Oh, check this out. I didn't even know this. Trey, producer Trey, told me this, that these things have heated grips. And I'm like, what? Where's the button? Look how they have the heated grip button. So just hidden into there. I kind of love it. Yeah, controls are all solid. We got adjustable levers, which you guys know we love that. We also love Ferraris. Buttons feel medium of the road, slightly cheap, but only cheap compared to the really expensive models. I got no problem here. I love the grips. The grips feel good. They're a good size. And I feel like the windscreen does a really good job of being able to be a one-hand use. You know, if you guys got these windscreens that take two hands, like, you ain't going to be able to do that while you're going. Back to the controls though, the last thing, like I said on the highway, no cruise control. That is probably one of the main negatives for this bike so far, is that it really does need cruise control. You know, it's a touring bike. People are supposed to be getting on the highway and going long miles. Triumph, next model of this, give us cruise control, please. Also, thank you. Now guys, y'all are privileged and y'all get to watch this awesome camera car footage while we're doing this video, but I don't. So what we're going to do is up here, we are going to pull off in the old church parking lot and we are going to walk around this bike, because when I first saw one of these in person, my jaw dropped. This thing looks, if you think it looks cool on video and photos, man, you need to find the closest Triumph dealer to you and go look at one of these, because it is probably, in my opinion, one of the best looking bikes on the market right now. I really need to contact this church and be like, can you guys put 144 in as the C2 parking spot? Really appreciate that. Oh, a good kickstand. My God, I missed that. Alrighty, dudes. 2022. Oh, look, adjustable rear suspension. Oh, man, that's awesome. I didn't even know that. I wish I'd have known that. Alright, cool. Well, unfortunately, we can't adjust the fronts, but that's fine. Alright guys, 2022 Triumph Tiger 660. Look at the angles of this thing. I love the red. I'm not super sold on the gray, but I get the whole two-tone situation. Look at the front. Look at the front of this bike. This bike gives me just like fun town bike thing. And then it's super capable on the highway. We get the exposed frame. I think the tail, the seat alone. Look how huge this thing is, guys. Absolutely massive. You can have a passenger, no problem. You get these awesome grab rails for your passenger if they're riding around, which is absolutely essential. And from what I can tell, the luggage that they've put on these, it's just click on, super simple stuff. I love the low mounted exhaust. It's a little big, you know, past the actual header part, but I think it's hidden really well. I really like this motorcycle. It's probably one of the favorite Triumphs I've ridden, and I know we get to ride a lot of these Triumphs and, you know, have them in the shop for a while, but this is a bike I could be like, bro, I could live with this thing all day. There's nothing crazy about it, but it is just a phenomenal ride. Yeah, man, I really can't say enough good about this thing. I love the way it looks, love the way it rides. I'm really digging on this bike, obviously. And guys, I'm going to take a photo of this thing real quick. If you're not following us over on Instagram, we are at C2Pics, post photos of all of the first try stuff that we do. And if you guys want to see some real crazy stuff, over on Instagram, we post little videos. We take the camera car footage, we super stabilize it so you can see the suspension working. It's pretty cool stuff. Highly recommend it. But I'm going to take a photo real quick. What a menacing bike. Yes, fam. Alright guys, those photos will be on our Instagram, and we're also making content over on TikTok actually we're Chaseontwowheels on TikTok. You guys should check it out. It's a good time over there. We post a lot of additional stuff for you guys, you know, if you're fans of the channel. Alright dudes, let's get back on the Tiger 660 and figure out who is this bike for? One annoying thing about Triumphs, not a big deal, it's slightly annoying. Even if it's in neutral, it will not turn on. You always got to do the clutch in. Triumphs are always like that, man. All right, handlebar test. Let's put it all the way to the side and see where it takes us. All right, medium part of the road, medium showing for the old Tiger 660. surprised. Typically these things have a big you know, steering lock, and this one seems to, but it didn't turn in quite as much as I thought it would. It's okay, it's Tiger 660. It's not going to change how much I love you. Can we go after this car? I believe we can. Absolutely we can. Alright guys, so we've had some time on the Tiger 660 now. I like to end these videos up with who I think the ideal client for this bike is, and this bike reminds me of way back in the day, my Suzuki SV650. Now, interestingly, I've ridden a newer model Suzuki SV650. I didn't get the peppiness and the passion out of the newer one as I remember getting from my old yellow SV650. This bike gives me that fun, peppy, comfortable ride feeling that I remember from my very onset days of riding a motorcycle. I think that's why I get so excited riding this bike around. I started out on a 2005 SV650 a decade ago, and I would not have changed that for anything. I think it was a phenomenal bike to start on, and this bike is giving me those vibes. I feel like, interestingly, I feel like I can ride this bike harder, and I'm having way more fun on this bike than I was the Trident. We rode the Trident a little while back, did a little comparison between it and the MT-07, and we ended up choosing the MT-07 because the Trident, it felt too tame. This bike feels far more peppy than the Trident somehow, and it's in a far more comfortable package. I don't know, man. I'm pegging the ideal rider for this bike to be either an entry-level person who's looking for a bike that's got a good medium amount of power that they can grow into, or somebody that is looking for, you know, maybe you got two bikes and you've got a really nice expensive motorcycle that you want to ride on the weekends, and you want a bike to just put miles on, commuting to and from work. You don't worry about what it can and can't do. It's just, you want it to be reliable, get up, ride the thing to work, ride it back. Maybe if it's a Friday afternoon, you take a couple back roads, you have a good time. That's the vibe I'm getting with this bike. I don't feel like there's many things you couldn't do on it. The most important part of it is it's sparking that joy that I have. And it's not necessarily, you know, is the bike good or not for that joy. Like, I've ridden great bikes that just don't spark that fun kid in me, but I am getting that a lot on this bike. I do kind of feel like I appreciate Triumph put the adjustable rear suspension on it, but for a bike that cost in the nines, you know, like $500-600 more than its competitors, I do wish they had adjustable front suspension. It didn't have to be electronic, just adjustable. I feel like they could have done that, and they could have done cruise control. Those are honestly the two parts of this motorcycle that I look at and I'm like, those are the only misses. Oh, it's got such a fun amount of power. I really like this motorcycle, guys. I don't think I could recommend it more for the people I just described. But yeah, guys, that brings us to the end of the Tiger 660 Sport First Ride. I appreciate you guys riding around with me. I appreciate Triumph for letting us loan this motorcycle and make some extra content for you guys. I've been Chaseontwowheels, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later. Alright, Outro crew, thank you for getting to the end of the video. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I assume you're already subscribed if you're watching to the end of the videos. Make sure to put OC in your comments so I know you made it to the Outro crew. That's OC. Let's confuse everybody that doesn't make it to the Outro crew. And guys, let me know. Is this like the fun sleeper bike that nobody thinks about? I don't think, I did not come into this first ride expecting to have this much fun on this motorcycle, and if I'm going to be honest, I think I'm falling for this motorcycle, which is kind of nuts. Alright guys, I'm Chase. I'll see you on the next one. Later.